You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Videos, and I hit one. It was a Rocky Mount Northern Nash basketball game, and I guess this was like the last game we were doing of the year, and that game we didn't end up having a play of the game sponsor, and so Rocky Mount does a dunk and you're like going crazy, and you can hear yourself stalling for time to go through your sponsor sheet to try and figure out what the play of the week sponsor was, and then you discover that there isn't one. And I have to be like, no, Wes, there's not one this week. It's just the Ed and Wes play of the week.
Pertaining to our TV, a conversation occurred center yesterday, yesterday being Tuesday, just to clarify.
Of course. Where
all of a sudden the words I heard from across the room were, the skinny guy who we used to watch on karaoke all the time. And I just kind of stood up, my head came up, I said, "Are you talking about WHIG TV karaoke?" And my assistant supervisor said, "Yes." And of course they know who I work for. And I said, "The skinny guy?" She said, "Yes." She said, "Oh, you know him, I bet. What's his name?" And without a doubt, I said, without skipping a beat, I said, "That's Major League Vampire Jim Jones." And she said, "What?" I said, "Never mind, that's me."
Yeah. Oh, God. Major League Vampire Jim.
Major League Vampire Jim Jones. And we were looking at each other, we're like, "But he said, that's even better than what it actually is. Keep it in."
Oh, you could not write a script like that.
One take, baby. One take, Lee.
Dynamite. Oh, my God.
No possible way we were getting him to do it right. So.
Well, and the best thing is, I wrote it down.
He was reading from a script.
Yes. And he thought the U was a V. And somehow there was an A in there.
I don't think Lee sits around on Wednesday nights watching, I believe he grew up on Wednesday nights watching John Miller. So. I don't believe that was part of his upbringing.
Oh, Major League Vampire Jim Jones.
Major League Vampire Jim Jones.
I still remember there was the time where we were doing one of our Christmas specials, and I was sick that day, so that was already a great start.
That made it better, I'm sure.
And we were doing stuff, and this was when, I was going to say this is when we had the shitty cameras, but, when did we not? It's a long swath of time.
That really narrows it down, doesn't it?
Exactly. But we were doing something, and one of them, actually was about to fall, and Lee, Dukes of Hazzards over a table and saves it, and it was like, oh my God.
Completely off camera. Yeah. All you see is our faces holy crap.
Yeah.
Sir, if it wasn't the most optimal of all things,
God. I don't know. I really don't know.
But you know what? I'm glad for the experience.
Yes.
I realized very quickly that any dreams of true television stardom were dead. I hit my ceiling.
Yeah.
It's this isn't a glass ceiling. This is a concrete ceiling. But okay. But you know what? By God, I think I've got a job for life if I want it.
As I describe it to people when I meet them still, it's and they ask me about it, I'm like, well, you ever seen Wayne's World? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's that with a lower budget.
Except the lower budget in real life.
Yeah.
And half the crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was literally thinking about our Community.
Oh, that was
the greatest shoot we ever did.
Oh my god, it was
the greatest production quality of anything we ever did.
That and our Two Christmases fight. Those two, like the Community one, is great because we had lines and we shot it like an actual production. But the Two Christmases, getting a basketball thrown at me multiple times is just, it's great. It's great.
The running gag becomes me throwing a basketball at you, half the time missing, and you still selling it.
Oh yeah.
I think that was my favorite part. Is it was like horribly shitty pro wrestling.
Yes.
You can literally see the ball go 2 feet past you, and yet you sold that thing like I hit you square in the spine.
Oh,
you would have been an amazing job guy back in the old WWF. Back in the territory days, you could have got anybody. They call you a mechanic.
Because I'm working it?
You know how to work, boy. Hey, son, I was a mechanic early in my career. What? You had to work. Had a good look. Could work. Couldn't talk a lick. What?
Welcome to the Foreign Affair podcast, everyone.
Oh, we're not done?
No, we still have an entire episode to do.
I just wonder where in this conversation that we actually picked up the pod.
That'll be the mystery. Welcome, everyone, to episode 299, almost 300, of the Foreign Affair podcast. My name is Edward Green, joined as always by McCullen Crime, Wes Bradshaw. Dynamite episode for you today, as always. Depending on how much you've already heard, you know this is going to be a special one, folks. We have plenty to talk about, and this is going to be an interesting one because I don't think we have much match to talk about. Yes, there was an FA Cup this weekend, and there was League Cup this week.
Oh yeah, the FA Cup, obviously the least important of the cups.
And we'll get to that. That's
as I've always said.
Wes just ahead of the curve. We'll definitely be getting to that more once we hit news and notes, and I think that's where we'll probably be spending the majority of our time. As the transfer window is also closing, we're starting to see some deals go through, so we'll be hitting on that, of course, as well as Watch 4 and...
Yes, I'll touch on it because of the Rumble.
Okay, cool. We're getting a So Elite Raw Rumble edition. This will be great. With the guy that did like the 18-minute entrance.
It almost sounded to me like you said it so fast, like a subtlety Raw. Yeah, it's gonna be more of a subtle.
Yeah. This is gonna be So Elite, somewhat smooth. So, of course, as always, we are presented by NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We never stop. I'm also realizing that right now I need to send you that link we talked about last week after the podcast, because I will send you that at some point tonight before I go to bed. So you'll remember, you'll know what I'm talking about once I send it to you. It's fine. Anyway, let's get to the topics at hand. Feel like we should actually work our way backwards chronologically, even though we normally go forwards chronologically. We'll work backwards chronologically this week. So we'll start with the Premier League. Only one match, and it was today. Liverpool gets past West Ham 2-0, beating David Moyes yet again. Does Liverpool? It just never stops. Mo Salah and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain get on the score sheet in this one. Yes, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's first goal of the season, and in 2 seasons, actually, because he did not score in the year of 2018. So big moment for the Ox as he, coming back from injury, gets his first goal for Liverpool.
And just clear, that's his first Premier League.
Yes, of course, that is.
He's been scoring other places.
Yes,
I'm sorry. In Europe, he scored in he scored in some cup stuff. Yeah.
Yes, his first.
Yeah, that was a nice goal today.
Yes, his first Premier League goal since 2017 in the league. So big moment for him. for getting back to that in the Prem. But otherwise, Wes, I mean, this is just another 2-0 victory. It's just what it is right now.
And it's one of those things. What are the inevitable death, taxes, and Liverpool making David Moyes' life completely absolutely miserable.
Yup.
It's what we do. It's what we kind of live to do. It's this year it's down the list obviously this year, but it's still there because it's Moisey.
Well, you get to do it twice this year. You get to do it to Everton and David Moyes separately instead of just in one go.
And we still have another game with Moisey.
There you go.
Shite. Hey, shite. Liverpool just completely controlling that match today. Really, it was as close to a stroll as you can get. That's been a tougher place for us to win. I think that's actually the first time we won in that stadium. But you wouldn't have known it today. Just walking through, doing their thing. West Ham had a few chances, just couldn't put anything away. And at the end of the day, Liverpool rolls on. Now, real quick, due to that, good news for Manchester City. Mm-hmm. Liverpool no longer have a game in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they won the game in hand and now sit 19 points atop the table.
Yep. So it's going to be a rough go, but Liverpool did get the win there as we look forward to the full weekend back of Premier League action as Wes mentioned, now every team back up to 24 total matches played. So we enter match week 25 with 8 games on Saturday starting at 7:30 with suddenly struggling Leicester, who suffered a defeat this week in the League Cup that we'll get to in just a second. They'll be taking on similarly up and down Chelsea. Liverpool back in action at 10 a.m. as they host suddenly resurgent Southampton. You also get Newcastle, Norwich, West Ham, Brighton, Palace, Sheffield, Watford, Everton, and Bournemouth versus Villa in a relegation scrap. And then at 12:30, for I believe the third time this month, well, I guess technically it's February 1st, but you know what I mean, fuck off. Third time this month, Manchester United will be playing Wolves. So there you go. That's the 12:30 match. See if the Wolves can go get a win for Nick Petrovic there. Then on Sunday at 9 a.m. you get Burnley Arsenal. And at 11:30, I guess match of the week, it's Tottenham versus Man City and new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. See what Josie can bring to the table against the citizens as they try to stay within, I don't know, what's arm's length?
No, just second.
Yeah, saying second. There you go.
It's just second at this point.
And that's where they are as we take a look at the table. Liverpool again at 70 points, Man City at 51. 3 goal differential difference, but 19 points. That's insane.
A little thing, but look at those. That's the difference.
Leicester just 3 points behind City as we head into match week 25. Chelsea 8 points back in 4th place. United, Spurs, and Wolves all 6 points back of Chelsea in 5th, 6th, and 7th. The bottom of your heart, the relegation zone, it's West Ham. Among a trio of teams at 23 points, along with Bournemouth and Watford, who are currently 18th and 19th, and then Norwich currently at 17 points in last. So they're going to have to get some points in a hurry here if they want to try to stay up for another season.
You remember back in September when we were man, West Ham, they're in 5th. They're looking good. Maybe challenge for a European spot this year.
Yeah. No.
That was then.
Yeah.
Those are the good old days of Pellegrini. But now you're in the dog days of David. Enjoy trying to finish 16th, lads.
Oh, man. Oh, it's crazy.
Support your manager. Give him your support. Sir Alex will show up and chastise West Ham United fans.
That's all Sir Alex is good for at this point. Is just showing up and chastising people.
Woohoo!
Oof.
So, he said not me. This time he said it not me.
Spicy. So that is your match week schedule. There's no midweek matches next week, right? That'd be insane. No, that's
no,
FL. Never mind. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that.
Well, but it actually begins the first ever Premier League winter break.
Yeah. You know that thing.
Which Liverpool are 100% set on observing.
We will get to that. Oh, don't worry, folks. We'll get to that. So that's the League Cup. That's the league. As for the League Cup, Manchester United did give it their all going into their second leg tie against crosstown rival City. They were down 3-1, but Nemanja Matic did ping one back against the run of play in the 35th minute to make it a tie at least and get it to 3-2 City on aggregate. Unfortunately, Matic would also almost single-handedly end the match himself as he picked up a red card midway through the second half that sent him off and sent Manchester United down to 10 men, and City were able to see out the rest of the match and head to their third straight League Cup final, where they will be taking on Aston Villa. Yes, Aston Villa, not Leicester. After the two teams drew 1-1 in their first match in Leicester, the Villains take the 2-1 victory. Some late dramatics as Kelechi Iheanacho got Leicester back into it in the 72nd minute, but then in a mad scramble in the 93rd minute, Trezeguet, that's how we're going to pronounce it. Trezeguet.
You're welcome. Once again, this is why they let me say the name.
Nicolaj.
No, Nicolaj.
Nicolaj.
No, Nicolaj.
I feel like I'm saying it. Nicolaj.
And I'm just, whatever, just go ahead.
The irony is, of all the names we've ever done, Nicolaj is actually the one I know how to pronounce. I know this one for a fact.
Nicolaj.
Anyway.
Continue.
So Aston Villa gets the big winner there, much to the dismay of Arlo White. But Wes, we could have had Leicester versus City, the second and third place teams in Wembley for the League Cup final. Instead, we're going to get Aston Villa City, and you never know how these things will shake out. But it does seem like City's about to pick up their third straight League Cup title on March 1st, doesn't it?
I mean, definitely looks like it. You know, ever since they knocked us out of it, I was Aston Villa. I've got kind of a soft spot in my heart for Villa. Former European Cup winners. This is a great club with a ton of history, a ton of great players, great moments down through the years. They've got a great one right now, Jack Grealish, who I think gets a little overlooked by the England camp sometimes. I can't understand why. But fantastic player. I'd like to see him stick around there and really build something at Villa. The hardest thing for a promoted team is staying up.
Absolutely.
And I think if Villa can just stay up for a year, that they'll be able to somewhat consolidate and maybe get themselves back into, this is back into a team that year in, year out, they can compete for something, maybe making a cup run or even on the right year, maybe a Europa spot, something like that. I mean, I could definitely see Villa slide themselves into the Leicester Wolves kind of section because I think they've got some owners who want to. It's just getting in and establishing yourself for a year or so in the league, and Villa's gonna have a tough time doing it, but I'm pulling for him, and I mean, shit, come on, don't we want to see Pep lose?
Sure.
Someone who truly he shouldn't lose to. Wouldn't that just be fun?
Oh, of course it would. Of course
it would. As you're not a City fan, wouldn't that just be fun?
Exactly. I will say, just as we're looking at the schedule here, 5 days before the final, Man City will be playing the first leg of their Champions League round of 16 match against and at Real Madrid. So maybe there's a chance that 5 days later, maybe Villa can do something there. So that'll be interesting to see if maybe that affects them at all, and they'll see what happens. So maybe a little bit of hope for Villa as we get back into the Champions League there. And then finally, as we'll use this to be our bridge into news and notes, hey, this weekend there was no Premier League matches because it was the FA Cup 4th round proper. Woo!
Cup.
Gotta love them. Quickly through the results. Northampton and Derby played to a 0-0 draw, so they'll be doing a replay. Sheffield wins. It's so magic. Northampton Town still in it out of League Two. Sheffield Wednesday gets a late goal to push past QPR 2-1.
Oh, that's the magic too.
Leicester uses a 4th-minute goal from Kelechi Iheanacho to cruise past Brentford 1-0.
David Copperfield level magic.
Sheffield United get by Millwall 2-0.
Magic the Gathering.
Oh, God. Here we go. Reading and Cardiff drew 1-1 with both scoring goals in the first 10 minutes.
They're a magic man.
Oh, boy. Oh, this is great. West Brom squeaks past West Ham 1-0. Connor Townsend.
I hear Magic Johnson may have been at the match.
Norwich gets past Burnley 2-1 in Burnley. 2 goals in the span of 4 minutes is enough for Norwich.
Oh, that's good. I bet there was some magic seasoning on that.
Coventry and Birmingham drew 0-0, so that was the thing that happened.
I think a guy on Birmingham's name is Mike. I bet he's Magic Mike.
Newcastle and Oxford United also played to a 0-0 draw at St. James's Park.
That's basically like going to the Magic King.
Pompey, big 4-2 winners over championship side Barnsley.
Oh, a magical mystery tour for Pompey.
Chelsea thought they had an easy match against Hull as they went up 2-0 early, but had to weather a late goal from Kamil Grosicki to stay up 2-1 in that one.
Oh, around the magic school bus. Just magical.
Man City took care of Fulham in quick order with 2 early goals from Ilkay Gundogan and Bernardo Silva, and Gabriel Jesus scoring a late brace.
We know how Magic City is, just like Harry Potter.
Manchester United with a comfortable 6-0 victory at Tranmere Rovers. Hey, even Jesse Lingard scored in this one.
The magic words of Ollie carrying them through.
Arsenal on Monday beats Bournemouth 2-1 with just a late consolation goal for the Cherries coming through.
Magic Mikel rubbing his wand.
Tottenham and Southampton draw 1-1 after Southampton picks up a late equalizer in this one from Sofiane Boufal.
There's magic in them old Mourinho slippers.
And Liverpool, unfortunately, drop a 2-0 lead at Shrewsbury Town. Oh, they're Cummings for Jason Cummings as he gets 2 goals in 10 minutes in the second half to get Shrewsbury level and force a replay at Anfield.
Oh, it was magic stereo. Ed, if these people didn't pick up, it's the magic of the FA Cup, baby.
Why would you not be excited for this? So this, before we get more into it, real quick, they did also do the draw for the next round of matches. You'll have Sheffield Wednesday hosting Man City. Reading or Cardiff gets Sheffield United. Chelsea will be hosting either Shrewsbury Town or Liverpool. West Brom will be hosting either Newcastle or Oxford. Leicester gets the winner of Coventry and Birmingham. Northampton or Derby will be hosting Man United. The winner of Southampton Tottenham gets to host Norwich. And Pompey gets the joy of trying to beat Arsenal at home.
Oh,
it's the magic. It's so magic. Wes, why is this competition so magical?
I'm sparkling, I'm tingling because Ed, the English media decided it was. That's what matters.
Now, I mentioned, as we'll use this to be our bridge to news and notes, that that Chelsea would be taking on the winner of Shrewsbury Town and Liverpool. And you might be saying, well, replays at Anfield, Edward. Of course Liverpool will be coming out on top.
That's Fortress Anfield to you, Edward.
I'm my apologies, of course. Fortress
It's a
Anfield.
magical place.
It is a magical place, perfectly suited for the magic of the FA Cup. But, Wes, if you'd like to take this one away, I do believe some people, associated with Liverpool, were not enchanted by these magic spells, and will not be attending this match.
Well, bruh, it's spring break.
Oh, party up, bruh!
That's what bruh Klopp has made.
We gotta head down to Myrtle.
Bruh Klopp, man, hey, bruh, beachfront at Myrtle. Bringing some whiskey, some women, and some songs. It's going to be a magic week. Okay. So, anyway, now to get serious, because that's what we do best on this podcast, right?
Absolutely.
We get super serious about Man Bear Pig. So, the weekend for the makeups is, I believe, February 4th, 5th. Mm-hmm. Or the midweek for it.
Yep.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, the Premier League is having the first ever winter break.
Yes.
A year ago, the Premier League sent out memos to all teams saying, we ask you to respect the sanctity of the winter break. Do not be scheduling any competitive matches, no friendlies. This is for the players. This is for the players' recuperation, their safety. We're trying to make this, better going forward. So no matches.
May I interject something real quick?
Absolutely.
Just want to make sure everybody knows this winter break, I'm using in air quotes, is a 2-week period where you play one of the 2 weeks. So, half the teams play 1 week and half the weeks play. Because you can't have a weekend without Premier League matches. And, hey, everybody gets to be on TV now. So yes, this is not a winter break like other leagues take, where it's 3 weeks of actually no matches. This is just
some teams get and then play and then get another week.
Yeah.
And then play, which means they didn't get shit. But anyway. Liverpool, of course, are scheduled to play their Premier League matches February 1st, this Saturday, and then they're off for 2 weeks and play on the 14th. Mm-hmm. It's a nice winter break.
It is.
Klopp apparently had met with his players even before the Shrewsbury match and said, no matter what, my first team, you guys have 7 days off. Basically, after we play Bournemouth, or not Bournemouth, Southampton. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
After we play, and then we come back and play Bournemouth. Mm-hmm. After we play Southampton, you guys have a week to go do whatever you want. Do not come to Melwood. Do not show up at Anfield expecting to do anything. They all have their personalized fitness plans to stick to. Go to lovely Paris, Texas. Go to Gettysburg. That's where I would go. Oh, the dreams. The dreams are real in my life. Take you a trip. Take the kids. Go to Euro Disney. Just don't go to China Disney at this point, or Japan Disney. That's not where to go. Wuhan. But, so that's what he told them. He said, no matter what happens, that's what we're doing. And then he let his idea be known to the media afterwards. And as you kind of would have figured would have happened, all hell from that. I, of course, come down on the side of Jurgen Klopp because he's my conquering hero in shining armor who can literally do no wrong at this point. If Jurgen Klopp walked into my house right now, looked at me and kicked my dog, I would say, thank you so much, sir. Can I have a selfie with you? If he said, fuck you, I'd say, which hole? Okay, sir. Whatever. You're going to win the leagues.
I didn't think we were going to conjure Rick Fox on this podcast, but apparently that's what we're doing.
Rick. Have I told you about Rick Fox?
Yes, you have.
Former forward, University of North Carolina.
Yeah.
Never really learned it. Anyway, so Klopp told the media, he said, just go ahead and be ready. The kids are playing. There will be no first-team players there. And the cherry on top, Neil Critchley's managing because I'm not going to be... Shit. It's like, bro, Myrtle is going to be soaked. That's what I think it is. I think the entire Liverpool team's going to Myrtle Beach.
It's going to be lit.
Oh my God. And they're doing it before. I don't think it's biker weekend. It's before regular spring break, so they should be good, bro.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be turned.
I think there's like a high of 62 and under. So it'll be cool.
Delicious.
But that is what he said he was going to do. You know, I've heard the adage many times in my life is, and for Jurgen Klopp, yes, this is the hill he's willing to die on.
Yes.
Now let's take this into some consideration now. Hey, Liverpool are now 19 points up in the Premier League, 14 matches left.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't lost in over a year in the Premier League. Yeah. It would be the fall apart for Liverpool not to win the league this year. Mm-hmm. They're not the bookies' favorite to win the Champions League. Somehow Manchester City are, because, you know, they have such a pedigree in this competition. But I think a lot of betting people, Liverpool are probably your favorites to repeat as the Champions League winner at this point. If Jurgen Klopp doesn't win the FA Cup this year, you know how many people are going to give a flying shit in Liverpool? I'll tell you that there will be someone who will bitch about it, because
there's going to be someone.
Yeah, the Klopp-outers will find their. I really do believe now the only Klopp-outers left are just trolling Manchester United fans.
He hasn't won a domestic cup yet. What's his problem?
He ain't won a domestic cup. What a joker! Yeah, but so that's what he's going to do. Now, if anything, I think more of the criticism of him could come in the fact where he's like, I'm not even going to be there.
Yeah. That's
to me, that, you know, that's kind of like, okay, Jurgen. I think it would be really cool for those kids if you did manage them. But at the same time, he does have a precedent for with the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
Different circumstances.
We did this a month ago. Yep.
Yeah, we've done this. Different circumstance,
right.
But this has been done. Neil Critchley will do a fantastic, fine job. I mean, there's no worry that Neil Critchley isn't going to uphold his end of the bargain. As far as the match, we'll see. You know, now I'm kind of interested. He said no first teamers. I'm a little interested to see, are we going to see Curtis Jones, who has scored in his last 2 FA Cup matches as an 18-year-old? You know, he's got that scout swag going right now. You know, you put him in, he does good. He actually came in the West Ham match today, played the last I think 7-8 minutes. So, you know, Curtis Jones progressing very well. You've got this. He's kind of the only one I get a question if he's going to play. Harvey Elliott in a U23 game today scored a just wonder goal from all accounts. Harvey Elliott will play. That group will play. So I think it'll be a team, though, a little more along the lines of what you saw in the Carabao Cup. You know, it would be a great opportunity for Ryan Brewster. Of course, he's going on loan to Swansea. But, you know, you're going to see the Herbie Kanes of the world, Keanu Hoovers. You'll probably see the same fullbacks you saw the other day. Joe Williams, Yasser LaRouche. I'm guessing Sepp Vandenberg probably at the back. And I would guess Kevin Kelleher in goal. So it's going to be more of Liverpool's under. Now, that said, that kind of makes for a pretty fascinating match.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to get here? Of course, they were beaten 5-0 when they tried this against Aston Villa. This ain't Aston Villa.
Sure.
This is the 16th place team in League One. I guess my big question also is, you know, what kind of line are they? Considering they ain't got no winter break, and they're kind of fighting for survival just out of League One right now. That said, they are getting Shrewsbury's getting the massive payday to come to Anfield. And for them, what they've got to be looking at now, I believe, I don't have it committed. You said Chelsea
Yes.
versus the win. So, for Shrewsbury, I mean, there's another one right there.
Yeah.
You can turn around, maybe go to Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool's giving you the opportunity.
Yeah.
A, you're going to make some bank, and B, they're giving you the opportunity to go to the 5th round and get to play another Premier League Blue Bloods.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good chance here for Shrewsbury. It's going to be interesting to see what they do as a team, but I think, hell, you go for it. How often does this opportunity come around?
Absolutely.
You don't get to go to the field every day and, give those first teamers a chance. So Liverpool definitely are going to have all kinds of work cut out for them. I'm interested to see who the established favorite is going to be in this match.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's got to be Shrewsbury going in. I mean, if it's the same team that played against Liverpool in the first match, I mean, that team played pretty darn well.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. I'd love to see Liverpool obviously press on. If nothing else, it's a chance to see the Harvey Elliott's, Nico Williams, Curtis Joneses of the world play 90 minutes, and I really enjoy watching those guys play. But we'll see. There's another Klopp saying, well, look, we agree with you, but, you do have some senior guys who are coming back from injury in a minute. Key among them, the 3 who just stunk up the first match, and Fabinho, Degsy, and Joe Matip. They could really use 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like Klopp's going to go that route. So, we're going to see the kids. And you know what? Kind of like the Carabao Cup, I think it'll be interesting this time, too. They will be at Anfield. You have to remember, too, the Carabao Cup was at Villa Park. Mm-hmm. So they were not only an underage team, but they were, in a hostile environment. Well, here they're going to be in Anfield. And, man, with just the mood around this season, I expect Anfield to be pretty much, it might not be totally packed, but I expect there to be a really good crowd. And I expect them to go in there and get behind because we're not wallowing in self-pity this year. Hey, let's go and enjoy it. Let's go enjoy it. See if the kids can get something done. So I'm expecting a good atmosphere and I'm expecting a good game. And since I paid for the damn ESPN Plus, I guess I'll get to watch it.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So one thing I do want to touch on real quick is something Klopp also mentioned that I actually kind of agree with. And it's something Pep has kind of talked about as well. But the idea is by the 5th round, we don't have penalties anymore, or we don't have replays anymore. It just goes to penalties, after extra time. My thinking is, what if we eliminate replays once Premier League teams enter? And part of that is because once Premier League teams enter the competition, it's also the busiest time of the year for them. Mm-hmm. It's coming off right after the whole December crazy shit fest that is now occurring in the Premier League. What I'm thinking is you get rid of replays, and I know some people would say, well, just like is what happened with Shrewsbury, they're missing out on, they could miss out on some big gates. And what I would almost say, and I think this is what Klopp said, and I agree with him, basically just if it's a Premier League team matched up with a non-Premier League team in the draw, the Premier League team is always the road team. And just say that's always the situation.
Sure.
And that way that, yes, there's no replay, but hey, Shrewsbury, you get Liverpool coming to your place, no matter what, no matter how you're drawn, that's the setup. So I think that would be really interesting because I just don't understand why we're still doing replays. There's other things I don't understand, like why we're using VAR at some places and VAR at other places, not at other places. I feel like if you're going to use VAR in your competition, you have to use it for every match. Even if it's like, we don't start using VAR until round 5 or whatever. When you want to start using it, you have to use it everywhere. Because I know in the Tottenham match, VAR was used, I believe, twice in that one to look at goals. And then as I was reading about the Shrewsbury-Liverpool match, it sounded like Shrewsbury had a late shout for a handball that would have given them a penalty and a chance to win the game. But because VAR isn't in operation there at Shrewsbury, they weren't able to do anything about it, which I think is weird if every game is getting televised on, which I think it is, right? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, no, they're all televised.
So I don't know why you couldn't have some level of VAR there, but anyway, that's my little rant. But I would definitely like to see some way that without wrecking the money for the lower level clubs that they get out of this competition, I would like to see the number of matches drastically reduced, because it is kind of insane for Premier League clubs.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say, but it's archaic. And one of the people are so Premier League centric, it only benefits Premier League clubs. Well, tell you what, guys, let's have a Bristol City Shrewsbury final. And let's take out the Premier League clubs, and let's see how this competition. Let's see how it survives.
Yeah.
Or not even survives, but it would survive. Well, let's see how long there's any money associated with it.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. There's got to be an answer, because right now what's happening isn't good, and I think that now that something like this has happened with Liverpool, and with Pep talking about it, with Klopp talking about it, with others talking about it, at some point something has to change. And we'll see whenever the FA stops dragging their feet and actually tries to do some real meaningful change, either to this or to the League Cup. If that means scrapping it completely, if it means changing that format, I don't know what that means. But something needs to be done, because if you think about it, I mean, this year, I think there was a quote about how many matches Mane played because of AFCON and then the entire season. Within a year, and it's going to happen with a bunch of players this year because of Euro 2020. So like a lot of the England players are just going to get run into the ground. Like these,
or maybe, and I just almost say, like, if you have a European exemption,
yeah,
if you are in a European competition,
sure.
You can choose, and you have to choose early. You have to choose at the beginning before everything.
Sure.
But you can choose to either sit out of the League Cup or the FA Cup.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I doubt that would go, but I mean, that just seems like an easy compromise.
Yeah.
So you take your choice, but you enter the second one.
Yeah.
And so then then everybody's playing saying he.
Yeah.
So and then or something where you're playing the Club World Cup, you know what? That is something you're going to have to figure out, because that's just something extra. That's something, so like I wouldn't give them an exemption for that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I mean, if you're in the Champions League, you can choose to say, look, we're not even going to enter the League Cup.
Right.
So then there's nothing about it. You drop some teams out. You drop out maybe. I would almost figure teams would say up front they'd say I'd rather not play the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
But then, when you get into January
and
Jesus, God, get me out of this. But, you just might have 5 or 6 less teams. And it would be some of the bigger teams, obviously, in it. But hey, Man United will be there.
Yeah, exactly. And at least then, like, even if it's not the top Premier League clubs, you might still have a team like a Wolves or a Villa or a Leicester or a team like that isn't super high up but wants to do well in a cup competition.
Right.
Who can make a run?
You get some of that extra excitement.
And then it's
that's almost like an added bonus.
Yeah.
You give some other teams like a real shot, especially in the Carabao Cup, because I would guess just due to the money that would be the one most of them would say Carabao.
Yeah.
But I mean, just how much cooler would it be, say Leicester and Villa playing each other in the Carabao Cup final?
Yeah. I mean, if it was a game like they played this week in their second leg tie, that'd be a dynamite final.
Which, and I hate to say, unfortunately, probably on our way to a 5-1.
Yeah.
You know, Man City, it'll be over by halftime.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm optimistic.
Hey,
you know me.
That's why they call him West Positive Bradshaw.
I'm not only positive.
Oh, man.
Oh, Cartman.
Oh, man. Anyway, this is also the point of the show where we get to pimp the Athletic. I'm going to pimp the Athletic. James McNichols writing this story. It was an exclusive story. Just thank you. I'm bringing everything back in this one.
There's another callback.
Yeah. Disgruntled Arsenal fans to launch breakaway Phoenix club based in Surrey. Dial Square Football Club. Oh, it's delicious. This is maybe one of the dumbest stories I've ever read, but it's great. And you should all read about it and then read all the comments. It's fantastic. And it's James McNichols talking about Dial Square FC over there in by Arsenal. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Arsenal.
Is anything to your fancy on the old Athletic this week, Wes Bradshaw?
I wrote out there. I thought I went back and saved it. Oh no, did I not? It's one maybe we can talk down the line. It was a story, and it was about, is 2020 going to be the year of the two-way play? Of course, Shea Otani from the Angels.
Yeah.
Outfielder, can DH, is a dynamite pitcher. There are a handful of guys now in the major leagues this year who are in that sort of position where they are seen as two-way players. They're 50-inning pitchers. And there are also guys who can step in and hit, guys who can go in as late defensive replacements at like real positions like shortstop, center field, places like that. It was an extremely interesting article. I'm very ticked at myself. I thought I had gone back and saved it just so I could bring it up tonight. But, obviously baseball, we're still a little ways away from baseball. Mm-hmm. But, would definitely be something to talk about. I'm going to see if I can come up with it. Anyway, there are a couple of really, there's one really good story. I'm on baseball for some reason, about Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot of Patrick Mahomes stuff on there this week. And one of them is Andy McCullough. Mm-hmm. Talked to scouts, former teammates, former opponents from a game that took place on March 11th, 2014, a high school baseball game between White, which is where Pat Mahomes went, and Mount Pleasant High School out of Texas, which won Michael Kopech.
Oh.
Was their ace pitcher that year. Of course, Michael Kopech went on to be a first-round pick by the Red Sox that spring and now is in the rotation of the White Sox. And in that game, Pat Mahomes actually threw a no-hitter and beat Michael Kopech. Mm-hmm. And they go and they talk about, there's a lot of talk in there, was as a baseball player. Once they said it, it just rang in my ear like a huge bell. Duh, that's who it was. Pat Mahomes' dad played like 11 years in the major leagues.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So, he played for the Red Sox for a while. Definitely not as good at baseball as his son is at football.
True.
But hey, man played 11 years in the bigs. He made himself out of that. So, but apparently Pat Mahomes, a lot of just natural baseball talent. Actually got drafted that spring by the Detroit Tigers, 37th round. Definitely went lower because people were like, well, shoot, he's going to play football at Texas Tech. So. Yeah. But just a really interesting, you just find so much interesting out there on the Athletic. That's why we're such big fans. Oh, we're just such big fans. Huge. Michael Cox has continued phone's just doing its thing. Is continuing a series that he's doing on football numbers.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
And he highlights some of the top players to ever wear certain numbers. Gives like background as to why this number kind of goes with this position. A few days ago, he released number 2. So he's done number 1, which is associated with goalkeepers. But some really interesting things you find in there. I haven't read the number 2 one yet, but it is up, and it is definitely worth a read if you want some background and just like going through some of the history of football, which I, of course, do. As you know, I am an amateur historian.
Yes.
And also a half amateur tattoo artist. And race car driver. No, I am not Reese Bobby. I promise. But I mean, God, I could just go on and on about stuff I've just got saved right now in the athletic. But those are a few that really stuck out to me. But the two-way player one really stuck out to me. That was really interesting to read. That was a Peter Gammons article.
Real quick, just my Michael Cox story I enjoyed from the week, if that's what we're doing. I liked his article on they shoot, they don't score, the Premier League players who just cannot find the net. Talking about the top 5 players who've taken the most shots in the Premier League this season without scoring. And any list like that has Theo Walcott on it, I am all about reading.
Theo!
And what I love about all of Michael Cox's articles is he really tries to get into an in-depth analysis on all of the players and try to really figure out why something is the way it is. So I just really appreciate Mr. Cox, and I'm so glad that the Athletic scooped him up. Real quick, as this will be our bridge to a little bit of transfer talk here and news and notes.
Getting the thickening for
real quick, everyone, and I'll just start this by saying, if Mino Raiola is being the voice of reason, you done fucked up. It's
a bad question if he's.
Yeah. Because on this article done by David Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell, Mino Raiola exclusive is the headline. I am on Ed Woodward's side and there is no excuse for this, which is what led me to clicking on this article, because what the fuck? This is a club you trashed 5 weeks ago. What the hell is going on? But apparently about a dozen United supporters went to Ed Woodward's home and threw flares and fireworks at it. They weren't home. His family wasn't home, so that's good. Don't do that shit. Just don't fucking do that shit.
Don't be the Philadelphia.
Wes and I love making fun of Ed Woodward. We love making fun of Ed Woodward.
Basically why we have a show.
What's one of the reasons? This is stupid. Come on. As Mino Raiola said in it, these people need to be locked up and re-educated. This cannot be part of sport. This is sport. Sport. This is not a question of life and death. It is entertainment. Just don't do it, guys. Just don't do it. Make fun of him. Post your little dumb memes on message boards like we do. Do stupid shit like that. Don't go and destroy property or, heaven forbid, actually harm him or his family. Don't do that. It doesn't matter that much. Just don't do that. So,
you guys, I have a 15-year-old. You know what I say to him? What you're thinking right now, do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And that will be the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. Let's do that, fans.
Yeah.
Opposite of this great, awesome idea that you have.
One more quote I like from Raiola is, if anyone has used me as a reason to create any anger towards Ed, they are totally in the wrong, because my relationship with Ed is good, it is professional, and we don't always need to agree, but that's normal. What happened last night is not normal. It is violence, and I condemn any type of violence. These guys are morons, and this is criminal behavior. Which is right. He's absolutely 100% right. Again, this is a guy who said that United destroys players, is saying, guys, fucking calm down. It doesn't matter that much. I'm still going to get paid whether Ed Woodward's going to be an idiot or not. Don't fucking hurt him. Come on.
There's the big thing, though. Mino's going to get...
He is. He's not going to get paid for this one, I don't think, because I don't think he's related to this transfer. But one of the top transfers that just looks like it's about to wrap up in the next day is Bruno Fernandes heading over to Manchester United, coming from Sporting CP. The midfielder is looking to bring some much-needed scoring threat, as well as some dynamicism. Whatever. Yes. Especially with Paul Pogba being very unreliable due to injury for the first team. Wes, 55 million euros, 46 million pounds is the, looks like it's going to be the fee, plus another potential 10 million of add-ons. Is this we know values in winter tend to be a little inflated. And I know we don't hold United in highest regard, but does this help United maybe make a run at the top four? And by top four, we mean fourth this year.
Okay, let me preface this as saying Bruno Fernandes has the opportunity to come in and be fantastic. I think he's a fantastic talent. Spurs wanted him bad last summer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams want him bad. A lot of teams, apparently, are ready this summer to do something, or this coming up summer to do something. Just didn't want to do it in January. And said, "Fuck that shit. We got this money. We going." Bruno's a fantastic. It's a real signing for United. I think. I believe it's a good signing for United. I don't know if he's gonna fire them to the top four. He helps. This is like a really nice first step for United.
Okay.
God, they've got a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And Bruno Fernandes is not going to cover up a lot of the issues that United are still going to flip. Defensively, they're a shambles. I don't know. I'd say that bad. They're getting a little bit. Harry Maguire is starting to look like a center back that he. Oh, wait. Oh, God. I'm just glad Liverpool didn't overpay for Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
Bruno's a nice pickup. I'm not willing to say, though, that Bruno is going to be what puts United over the line. Mm-hmm. I'm not ready to go that far yet. I do think he will come in. He'll definitely help them,
mm-hmm.
as in the way that, something's got to
true.
Much worse than what they've got right now. So, he helps in the fact that he... But they still need a lot of help.
All right. Well, Windows
Sorry.
It's okay. Also, a little bit of news. A lot of stories coming out of Tottenham of comings and goings. Christian Eriksen going to Manchester United. Wait, I saw him in a picture today with Ashley Young and Romelu Lukaku. That's Manchester United, right?
No, Ed.
Huh.
Antonio Conte is bringing the Premier League. Weird. I could have sworn that was Manchester United when I looked today. Well, it used to be.
Of course, Christian Eriksen is going to Inter Milan. He actually came on today in their first match against them in a substitute performance. Also, Inter's catchphrase, which I want to pull up here because it was really weird. Oh, not for everyone. Not for everyone is the Inter Milan catchphrase. Yeah, apparently. So Christian Eriksen leaves behind a lasting legacy of being a great producer for Tottenham. Not so much in the last 12 to 18 months, but when Tottenham were at their peak back in 16-17 and 17-18, he was a dynamite man for them, was twice the club's player of the year, and just, a very, very big threat. He was the better Mesut Ozil, is what it turned into, and is still better. He was
Mesut Ozil who ran
exactly. So Christian Eriksen has headed off to Inter. Also, just mentioned after that was the Giovanni Lo Celso. He is now on a permanent to Tottenham Hotspur. That has been wrapped up. So Giovanni Lo Celso is now permanently a part of Tottenham. They have bought him now. They also bought in Steven Bergwijn, coming over from PSV Eindhoven, also formerly of Ajax. He's coming in to see if he can sort of stabilize the wing a little bit as well. Maybe start having Dele play a false nine. We'll see how that works in Harry Kane's absence. And then Kyle Walker-Peters is going on loan to Southampton, and Danny Rose looks like he's heading out to Newcastle. So definitely
good. You know what? Good for Danny Rose for being such an asshole in that.
Finally got what he wanted. Finally.
Good old Newcastle.
The
Geordians will enjoy watching it.
I'm sure they will. He can learn under DeAndre Edlin, I guess. Yeah. So big roster moves happening at Tottenham. There was also talk of them getting Piatek. Piatek. Thank you. But that he looks like he's going to Germany to play for Hertha Berlin.
He's going to play for Jurgen Klinsmann.
Oh.
Nothing can go wrong there. Don't worry.
Absolutely not. So yeah, it looks like Tottenham might be done for the window. Didn't bring in an out-and-out striker to replace Harry Kane while he's out, but they may try a few other things. And it does look like there's starting to be now, with the summer signings and with this, the refresher that is probably about 18 months overdue is finally starting to happen at Tottenham Hotspur. So we'll see if that starts to kind of nudge them back into the top four where they've been the last couple years. So some good moves, though. I'm excited to see Bergwijn. He seems like a really good talent. Was pretty lethal against us last year in the Champions League group stage. So I'm excited to see what he can do at Tottenham, and hopefully he's not just another Clinton. Clinton Dix. Yep, him. Yep. That one.
Clinton Dempsey.
Yes. Oh, Clinton
in Jogo or something?
Yes.
Close enough.
Now I have to look it up.
I'll tell you, Bergwijn, I've heard a lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
He's been on a lot of teams' radar. Was an Ajax product who Ajax let him go because they said he was too small at like 12. Because, and then he grew and the last few seasons has taken the Eredivisie by storm. So Ajax has lost PSV's game, and a lot of people were championing him for a move to the Premier League. And Tottenham may have gotten themselves a young Dutch Jim if he could. He's just, they said the only thing he's got to be. Yeah,
we'll see. We will see. This season so far, scored 5 goals in the league in 16 appearances. Also scored 1 in continental competition for Ronald Koeman's side with the Dutch. So we will see. We will see how Mr. Bergwijn comes in. Only 22 years old, and who knows if this was shade or if this was just him because he likes it. Immediately taking the number 23, formerly inhabited by Christian Eriksen. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes for that number. So that is our news and notes. Unless, Wes, you have any more delicious transfer news you want to talk about?
Arsenal have signed on.
Oh yeah, they signed somebody.
A center back.
Yeah.
From Flamengo,
Mm-hmm.
a former Manchester City youth player who, I mean, it's kind of like we said about Bruno Fernandes. He's got to help. I mean, he can't hurt.
Whew, yeah, that's
can't hurt anything at this point. So
yeah. Pablo Mari.
That's right, Pablo Mari. It's a loan with an option to.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for shit. I mean, if you're Arsenal, you got to take.
Yeah.
Right now, maybe you land on a stud. So good on you, Gooners.
We'll see what Mr. Arteta can do with him. Let me see. I'm going to look over our transfer market just to make sure I didn't miss any actual big deals. Victor Moses, maybe I talked about that last week. Victor Moses left Chelsea, I believe, also for Inter.
That's right. He's joined the traveling Premier League party to Milan.
That's so weird. I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm not joking when I say trying to recreate the Premier League.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hey, Ollie said that his team did a good job today. It was a growing moment,
mm-hmm.
and this is truly one of the inspirational wins.
Oh yes, the one. Hey, they got the win. That's all that matters when you really think about it.
They have become the ultimate win the battle.
Yeah. Let's see, just real quickly here. If anything else of note, Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, once thought to be maybe one of the up-and-comers from Manchester United, has been loaned out to Oldham Athletic. As we said, Victor Moses heading over to Inter. I don't know. That's about it. And I mentioned Nabil Bentaleb last week going to Newcastle. So he and Danny Rose, definitely a good combination.
And really, at this point, the ongoing saga of the window, Eriksson and Fernandez, those are taken care of. So, by next week, the window will be slammed shut.
Oh, just like that.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll slam shut news and notes. But Wes, that means we're at the watch for. What are you watching in the week that was or the week that will be?
I'm about halfway into season 5 of The Sopranos. God, man, I watched one the night before we go. I was like, oh boy, I wish I had time to watch one more. It's getting so good. Yeah, who knew?
Who
that
knew?
Would be a really good show.
Who knew?
What would have ever given me the idea that would have been a show? Planning to go see Bad Boys 3 this week. The end of the week. Get some. You know it, Ed Green. Get some. Should be a cinematic masterpiece. The Humphrey Bogart of his generation, Will Smith. That fits right.
Yeah, sure.
And Martin Lawrence, the Clark Gable of our hearts.
Yep. Exactly right.
Totally. Does that make Gabrielle? What does that make Gabrielle? She's Gabby. She's great.
She's just Gabrielle Union. She's Miss Dwayne Wade.
Ms. Dwayne Wade. Excuse me. He's Mr. Gabrielle Union.
Fair.
You fascist, sexist pig. Trump lover. How dare you not give her top billing yet?
What the fuck?
You're a sexist.
Yeah. Fascist. I'm the sexist fascist. Yep.
Sexist fascist.
It's me, everyone.
You and all your guns over there in the country.
Yep, that's me. Everybody who's followed this show for 7 years and this podcast for 5 knows that to be the case.
And folks, when I say guns for 2 29-inch pythons that he calls arms. Yeah, all right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, brother. Let me tell you something, brother. Yeah, that's kind of all I got this week. Sorry, I've been working all week and I'm sorry. I now have Disney Plus after
Hey.
this past weekend with my child.
Hey, that's not such a bad thing, though.
It's not, but you want to know my ultimate disappointment?
What's
I
that?
found a movie I wanted to watch. I wanted to watch 1986's Adventures in Babysitting because it's a great movie. And I go in there, and apparently that thing's not going to be on there until July 2021.
Oh.
What the hell? And I found like 3 or 4 movies like did not make me a happy.
What the hell?
It says like contractual obligations. This movie will be available. I think the closest one is like July 2020. I was like, what the hell, man? You just expect me to pay you this money every month that I will pay you to wait for this movie, which is pretty much going to happen? Mm-hmm. Thank you for a fantastic product, by the way. My avatar is Thanos.
There you go.
What's your avatar, Ed?
I think it's something from Big Hero 6.
Okay.
Callie's
is Elsa.
Let me. I can actually look up real quick. Let's see. DisneyPlus.com. Log in. Oh, hey, Jeff Goldblum.
Hey, Jeff.
I am. Yeah, I'm the guy from Big Hero 6. I think is what that is.
You're my big hero, Ed.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You're mine. You're mine. I did hear a rumor. This was a rumor, not to be taken as fact, but a rumor that what is it? Marvel's Falcon and Winter Soldier has been bumped up. Now coming out, looks like it's going to be scheduled potentially for August 5th to be released on Disney Plus.
Filthy mouth. Oh, Jesus help. That is a nice bump up.
Yeah. Remember,
It's going to be what, like spring or something before it came out?
I think it's going to be like late fall, I think.
Late fall, yeah. I don't need late fall. Hot summer. I need something to watch.
Hot man summer. Hell yeah.
Oh. There's a new Sebastian Stan movie coming out, by the way, that I desperately want to see.
What is that?
It is called The Last Full Measure.
Okay.
And it is set, I believe it's based on it's one of those based on a story.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you the quick synopsis. A Vietnam airman is awarded Medal of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I believe Sebastian Stan is like the. They didn't give me much of a synopsis here. I think Sebastian Stan is a lawyer, like helping fight for him to be awarded the medal.
Yeah.
So, but it looks really good. It's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian Stan's in it. I want to say maybe Danny Glover has a part.
Let's see. No, I pulled it up here. Sam Jackson is in it.
Sam Jackson, that was right. Ed Harris.
Bradley Whitford is in it. Michael Imperioli and William Hurt also in it. So there's Christopher Plummer also in it. So there's some big names. There's Peter Fonda is in this apparently. So some good names here. But yeah, it looks like you pretty much hit it on the head. So there you go. That's The Last Full Measure coming out. Looks like towards
January 24th. So
yep.
Oh, it comes up.
No, wait. What? January or maybe 31st. Maybe this Friday.
Hope
is when I'm seeing it.
I'm not missing it.
No.
It looks really good.
Let's see what is my watch for here. The Good Place. It's wrapping up this week. The final, the 1 hour finale is this week, followed by apparently it's a little over an hour, and then the cast, much like they did with Parks and Recreation, the cast of The Good Place will be heading to Seth Meyers to do a live post-show kind of thing. So that'll be a lot of fun. But the Good Place will be leaving us after that. But don't worry, because next week, hey, it's Brooklyn Nine-Nine's back, boys. Nine-Nine! Hell yeah, Nine-Nine. Oh, it's going to be lovely. So still some big stuff coming out. I love it.
Don't do little stuff, big stuff.
Yeah, it's not Robert Downey Jr. here. This is big stuff. Hey, you see what I did there? I'm the only one. We don't. Yeah, I'm still the only person talking about that movie. So you're welcome, RDJ. I heard it was really bad.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Sorry. You're still Iron Man to me. Don't
Sorry.
worry.
Yeah, you always be Iron Man.
True.
Sorry.
Love you 3000. Wes, that brings us to a very brief and subtle So Elite Raw, but it's the Royal Rumble. We got to talk about it.
It is.
I saw one of the ladies came out as Sindel from Mortal Kombat, so that's cool.
I don't really have much to say about anything over there because that's all I saw. And I clicked in about halfway through that, so I was like, "Yes, wait, I have the still." I was on my way home from something else. I was like, "Yes, I can watch it. It's awesome." And I will tell you, it was a good Rumble. I mean, always fun. It's always good. The big shock return was Edge.
Yes.
His return to the ring, first time since 2013, I believe. No. I think he retired in 2011. But apparently he's been cleared to wrestle again, I guess. So, Edge is back. That's cool. I like Edge. Red, our superstar. Great guy. Some cool moments that I saw, kind of having a moment together where they cleaned house. You remember, you got to go way back. You got to go back to the 2000 aughts to remember Rated R. Devastating tag team combination between Randy Orton and Edge. That was a cool little throwback. Brock Lesnar was the first man in, eliminated 13 before being eliminated himself. Obviously one of the huge favorites to win the Royal Rumble match. AJ Styles, I saw AJ Styles thrown out. It looked like a really weird time, and like to me, it looked like, oops, this wasn't supposed to happen, right? And I mean, that's something you take a chance in something like a Battle Royal. All it has to do is you go over the top rope and your feet hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It looked to me like he was going to grab the rope and stay in, and his hand slipped off. And it didn't seem like, even with these matches, it seems like there are times when things happen for maximum efficiency and maximum reasoning, and that just seemed really out of place.
Yeah.
So, but the world will never know. So to kind of wrap things up, late on, Seth Rollins, one of the last people. Seth Rollins, since the last time we've done this, he's a bad guy now.
Ooh.
And there is not many things in this world because he's such a smug, smarmy little shit face.
Oh, yeah.
And this time he has his own faction around. Buddy Murphy, the AO. And those three came out with him and basically just started demolishing people, throwing people out, everything going their way. Well, then if you those three back to the back of the ring or back to the back of the arena, so they're not there to back up. Rollins left in there with Randy Orton, Edge, and Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, and that kind of leaves Seth as the kind of poor man out.
Mm-hmm.
And he got dumped. Edge threw out Randy Orton. One of those moves where Randy Orton is the guy. Remember, he's the Viper. You can't trust him. And Edge kind of got the jump on him after Orton had kind of insinuated he was going to RKO Edge early. So, nice little moment there. That was cool. Reigns ended up throwing Edge out. And then kind of surprising twist to end the match. It had been reported that Roman Reigns was supposed to win the match, and there he is in the final two. I think WWE just realizes, as much as we love Roman, he's just never going to be The Rock. We can't just keep putting him over in these matches, having the win supposed to be cheered, getting booed at the end of the night. Mm-hmm. So Drew McIntyre knocked Roman Reigns out of the ring, and Drew McIntyre, Oof. The former chosen one, who had to, let's put it this way, Drew McIntyre had to eat a big old shit sandwich and like the taste of it a few years back. He's Batman. He has kind of completed this comeback journey, comeback trail, and the guy's won. It's awesome. McIntyre's a guy who McIntyre's big, strong, has a look, great skill set, great move set, but it's kind of like he's always on like maybe that level just kind of below the main event guy. Mm-hmm. So this looks like WWE's opportunity to try to advance him up that ladder. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what a running with Drew McIntyre could look like.
Interesting.
So now, Ed, we've hit the road to WrestleMania.
Oh boy, point to the sign.
And in the classiest of all cities, Tampa, Florida.
Oh boy.
There's gonna be a pirate ship at WrestleMania.
Oh boy.
It's all our Tampa fans down there. We love you guys.
Oh yeah.
Enjoy your 5 o'clock thunderstorm. How did you know? Because it's a 5 o'clock storm in Tampa. We know how it works.
We do.
And turn up the lights so the Rays can see.
Well, Tampa, if it's good enough for a Super Bowl, it's good enough for WrestleMania. Damn it. Oh, God. But that's going to do it for this episode of the A Foreign Affair podcast. Thanks for joining us here on episode 299. One more time, thanks to NGSC Sports for presenting this. You can find them on the social media as well as us on Twitter. As a collective, we are at AFA Pod. Wes, you are?
I'm at Wes Bradshaw 21.
And I am at Edward Green. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube via our parent show, The All New Sports Show, and email us at allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Thanks to our podcast providers, including Podbean.com, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, the TuneIn Radio app, Google Play Music, and the iTunes Music Store. We'll be back next week for episode 300. Oh my, how the time has flown.
Tonight, we dine in hell.
Exactly.
By the way, just go ahead and get ready. Next week, chock full of 300 quotes.
Easily.
I'm going to do terrible Gerard Butler.
Easily Gerard Butler's 17th best movie.
You're crazy. That's like one of the 4 best movies ever made. The history of movies.
Sure.
Top Gun, The Sound of Music, 300, and The Godfather. Damn it. No particular order.
One of these things is not like the other.
Actually, 2 of these things are.
That's true. I guess that's true.
Number 5, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's a good movie. That's a really good movie.
Love you, Matthew.
So that'll do it. But before we get out of here for this episode, Wes, anything else you'd like to add?
Folks, we've had a lot of fun today.
We have.
Cutting up. I'm going to have to put on the old series hat for a minute.
Go ahead.
We can't be the only sports show not to, give our respects to Kobe. Kobe Bryant. Mm-hmm. You've been living under some rock. I certainly haven't been living. All about the helicopter. Sunday, was it 9 total?
9 total, yes.
9 total in there, including NBA Hall of Famer, all-time great Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter. I think John, is it Albatel? Altabelli, I'm sorry about that. He and his wife, I'm trying to think, folks, I'm very sorry. He had family on there. He's actually like a California JUCO baseball coaching
Mm-hmm.
Orange Coast College. So and then there were people. I can't even. I'm not going to try to say everybody who was on there, but by now. But just us here at our. We joke, we kid, we say a lot of things, but we just want to give our condolences to all the families, that were affected by it, that have tragically lost life in it. Kind of one of those senseless ones where, hey guys, it's foggy, let's not fly today. Yeah. Another part of my job is if we need a helicopter for a wreck scene, one of the things we have to do, and then they'll tell us we can fly, we can't fly. If it's bad weather, they don't fly. Those are people who are saving other people's lives. So, maybe it wasn't the best decision that day by that pilot, but this, in retrospect, it is what it is. But just I wanted to put our thoughts out there for Bryant family, the Al family involved.
Yeah, it's a very big shame. So our hearts do go out to the Bryant family and every other family that was affected by this, and of course all the people who were very good friends and cared about Kobe Bryant. So that is going to do it then for this episode of the Foreign Affair podcast. For my Colin Crime, West Bradshaw, I am Edward Green, and I guess most importantly tonight, stay safe, everyone. And when you get a chance, enjoy the football.
See you guys back next week.
Yes, sir.
I'll leave you with a good night off. Great win.
There you go.
Nice loss in the war.
One more shot at it.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCSports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.